Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Professional Pulse. I'm Priyanka Musaddi, the co founder and CEO of Alpha Day Technologies Chicago. Alpha Day specializes in harnessing the valuable resource of data to drive your business forward. Our services encompass a wide spectrum of data analytics services, which includes data collection, organization, analysis, visualization, and predictive modeling. In a world overflowing with data, making informed decisions is both an art as well as science. Whether you're a seasoned analyst, a business leader striving for success, or simply someone who's intrigued by the transformative potential of data, this podcast is your compass on the data driven journey. Let's unlock the mysteries behind data, decode its language, and put it to work for a better, brighter, and more informed future. And today, to enlighten us and our viewers about the power of making informed decisions, is Mr. Vishal Chopra. Mr. Vishal Chopra is a highly accomplished Ivy League graduate who has pursued an MBA from the London Business School. With an exceptional track record of over 20 years in method oriented operations management and a strong commitment to driving business excellence through continuous process improvement. His expertise lies at the intersection of operations, analytics, and data driven decision making. He has a proven ability to lead and manage cross functional teams in diverse industries, consistently achieving operational efficiency as well as excellence. He is adept at leveraging big data and analytics to derive actionable insights, inform strategic decisions, and drive revenue growth. Not only that, his proficiency lies in employing Excel tools to streamline and expedite business operations, eliminating manual tasks and reducing operational costs. His expertise also lies in implementing systematic approaches to scrutinize weekly and monthly expenses and costs incurred at various organizational levels, enabling data driven cost management. His passion for numbers and business led him to work with many prestigious clients. Today, he leads a dedicated team across multiple locations, providing exceptional consulting services. Not only that, he has spoken at several TEDx events, highlighting the importance of analyzing data and making it a habit. So, Mr. Vishal, first of all, so great to have you on the Professionals Pulse. We look forward to a very well informed session today.
Absolutely, Farida. Thank you for the wonderful introduction.
Okay, Mr. Vishal. So, to get going with what we have met here for, that is the importance of making well informed decisions. So, according to you, what is data driven decision making, and how would you say that it differs from the traditional ways of making decisions?
So I would say, data-driven decision making is all about using data and analytics to guide your choices and strategies. It's like having a powerful tool at your disposal, one that's backed by hard facts and numbers. Now, you asked me what's the difference between traditional decision making methods and data-driven decision making is. First of all, data-driven decision making relies on concrete evidences and data instead of using gut feeling or past experiences. Now, you just let the numbers do the talking. Also, data-driven decision making is like a laser-guided missile, as I would see it. So it's incredibly precise. It's very accurate. So traditional methods can rarely give you that kind of insights. They are generally vague or very general, I would say.
Correct.
Also, with data driven decision making, you can do predictive analysis based on your past historical data and facts. You can understand what's coming in the future. So it's much more informed way of understanding what can happen in the future.
Mhm.
Traditional methods, doesn't really give you this kind of a leverage. Also,
Correct.
the kind of risk that you end up taking in terms of you using decision making that's backed by data is far less. In traditional methods, you don't have this kind of comfort zone where the data is backing your decisions. Second, and lastly, there's a lot of adaptability when it comes to data-driven decision making. So it allows you to be nimble, actually. So that if the data shows that there's a change in the pattern, you can quickly adapt to it. You can quickly change the course of action that what needs to be done. In traditional, decision making method, you may not get this enough time window to see and analyze things. At the same time, what you may see in a traditional decision making will be far too slow. It will be far too late, and you may miss out on that general opportunity that you would have got using data-driven decision making. So, in a
Correct.
nutshell, I would say, it's like having a high-tech navigation system for your business journey, where so data becomes like your guiding star, and it guides you through a very easy sail.
Yes. And data, of course, today is the driving force behind any organization.
Right.
So I think it's very, very important to use that data in order to make decisions for the future. But are there any organizations even now who still follow the traditional methods of decision making, or some, anyone whom you have come across?
Quite a few actually. So I hail from India. A lot of my family members, a lot of my relatives, my friends, and my entire neighborhood, I see tons of businesses who manage the business in a traditional format. The
Correct.
father has started the business or the grandfather started the business, passed on to the next generation, and
Yes.
they are still using the same age old method. They know what will sell in the month of May just by the gut feeling and or by the experiences. Of course,
Experiences.
they know that umbrella will sell better in the monsoons, but how to plan out that entire process of procuring the umbrella, what pricing to take, when is the right price, when the market opens, when it doesn't. So those kind of decision making is where the data can really help them. Otherwise, a lot of family businesses still are in they are clueless, I would say. Some with the entry of new generation are still at least trying to adapt to the new age
Correct.
technologies or to at least some basic data driven decision making. So of
Okay.
course there is long way to go, but yes, we are still making progress.
So, like you just shared, an example with us of how some of them still follow the traditional method. In the same way, can you also share a few examples of how data-driven decisions, have made a significant impact on certain organizations or industries?
Absolutely. So data can be a game changer. So what happens is, let me give you a very basic example. Today's everybody's phone would have at least one app which most of the teenagers, millennials, Gen Z, XYZ, whatever you want to call them, will have one simple app called Netflix. Netflix
Yes.
is a prime example of how data can revolutionize an entire industry. You know, They
Correct.
use sophisticated algorithms to analyze your viewing habits and preferences. Now, then
Yes.
based on this, they try to recommend tailor-made content for you. This personalization has not only boosted their user engagement, but it has also increased their subscriber retention. Now, not only Netflix, you can name any other OTT platform. They use a similar platform. Some may have a stronger algorithm, some not so strong. But most of their recommendations, in fact, not most, all of their recommendations are data backed.
Correct.
Similar,
Yes.
yeah. So similarly, even for healthcare, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of medical and healthcare organizations used data-driven insights to predict, where the disease are outbreaking more, or where they are able to contain them more, optimize the resource allocations, based on data, and of course, then this way they can improve the outcome that the patient shows, after having the right resources allocated to them. So this
Okay.
helped them in, especially in the so as I said, especially in the COVID-19 pandemic, this helped them in tracking and containing the virus spread also. So,
Right.
another example, I would say, companies like Amazon, they thrive on data. They
Yes.
give you product recommendations purely based on the insights that is available to them on your buying pattern, on your shopping pattern, on the time you spend, and what you search on their website. So this
Correct.
has led them to better sales, even increased customer satisfaction for that matter.
That's true. Yes.
Another thing that we often hear about are autonomous cars. So Tesla, for example, they collect vast amounts of data using sensors and cameras that they have on their vehicles. This They are continuously reading, analyzing, understanding their data, making patterns out of it, and very soon you'll see a fully functional autonomous car. So data is actually shaping the future of transportation.
Yes. I think you're
Similar,
absolutely right. Yes.
Similarly, even for a very basic retail management concept where data can help them understanding how much stocks to maintain, especially when now they see there are a lot of supply chain issues which is happening. People are not able to get the right product. If they are able to get the right product, they're not able to sell it to the right market. So retailers use a lot of data-driven decisions to understand how much inventory to maintain, so that it can help them maintain the adequate amount of stock. At the same time, it helps them avoid unnecessarily overstocking. So this overall leads to efficiency into their operations and giving them higher profitability. Similarly, even social media advertising, so Facebook or Instagram, even LinkedIn for that matter, I feel they supply a lot of detailed analytics to their advertisers. So this allows businesses to target the right ads more effectively to the right audience, results in a higher ROI. And bigger companies like Walmart, and all these people who they use tons of data to analyze. This helps them to streamline their supply chain. So products are in stock. They don't need to have wastages. Ultimately, it's all an efficiency game for them. So, I mean, these are just very few random examples. Otherwise, going down deeper into the seriousness of the subject, then there there is banking fraud or financial frauds which are getting monitored or regulated, controlled by organizations and institutions using data analytics. And it is also used a lot in agriculture. It's used a lot in medical sciences also, to that matter, to develop and do more research and R&Ds. So I think the industries that it gets impacted by data-driven decision making is probably every industry. I would say, I don't think any industry which will not get. So it has
Yes.
a profound impact, of course, across various sectors. So
Correct.
it's the ability is to harness and analyze the data effectively, which gives them the competitive advantage. This, I think, in today's world, organizations cannot afford to lose.
Yeah. Correct. It's like the formula for success, as you can call it.
Correct. Yes.
So, according to you, how should organizations go about collecting this relevant data? Because even though, organizations may know that it is important, data is important, but how do they know what kind of data to collect? What data would be relevant for their decision making? Who can guide them, or how do they know that?
Yeah. So, good question actually. So, collecting relevant data for a decision making process is like gathering puzzle pieces to see the big picture. So of course, to do it effectively, there are very few simple steps that one should follow. uh,
Okay.
just randomly just throwing some steps, I think the first of all, it is basically you need to have a clear understanding of what is it that you want to achieve out of this whole process. So what are your specific goals for this decision making process? What do you want to achieve with this data? This clarity will guide you, in your data collection efforts. Second, I think, is are the key performance indicators that needs to be finalized, or that has to be determined very clearly, as to because they are directly related to your objectives. So because these are the data points that matter. What are these data points that matter the most in your decision making process? So based on this, you will understand what kind of a data you want to start collecting, so that you can get these kind of results.
Okay.
uh, Also, you have to identify where will your data come from. So generally, broadly classifying, it could be two ways where the data can come from. One is internal, second is external. So
Yes.
internal means your own databases, your CRM systems, something of that sort, your accounting systems, or financial records and all. Or external sources could be like market research, customer surveys, any industry reports that gets published by the associations and all. Also, we need to ensure that that the quality of data is very correct. It has to be accurate, it has to be complete, and it has to be reliable. I think data quality is very crucial for making informed decisions.
Yes.
So, in this, because we just touched upon the quality of the data has to be correct, accuracy is important. There are a lot of data validation processes or systems which can be put in place. So that really helps.
Correct.
Similarly, what how you want to collect your data, you can choose that method of collecting data. It could be a manual entry, it could be an automated data capturing process, could be
Mm-hmm.
online surveys, could be web scraping. There are many ways where you will start collecting your data. So that's it. And also you need to manage and understand how you want to store and manage the data. So having a secured and organized system where you'll manage the data, warehousing or a cloud base, whatever suits your organization's requirements and the kind of resources it has. Also, when collecting data, one has to understand data isn't static, it
Yeah.
evolves over time. So you need to set up processes which will regularly update and refresh your data to,
Mm-hmm.
because you have to ensure that your data remains relevant. you
Relevant.
know
Yes.
I think what also will happen, eventually when you start doing these things, you will automatically foster a culture, of data-driven decision making within your organization. But at the same time, you need to encourage your employees to use their decision making processes. You'll also have to provide them trainings, as and when required, so that employees get more used to the culture and the mindset of
Correct.
making data-driven and informed decisions, rather than just going randomly at it.
True.
Finally, I think it's important to create a feedback loop, to continuously improve your data collection process. So what
Yes.
happens is, you learn from insights while you are collecting data, as how things can be improved to collect the data faster, to collect the data which is more accurate and an error free data. So this helps a lot. So collecting data is just the beginning. Actually, I feel, the real power will come from how you start analyzing it, and then you act
Yes.
upon the data to drive any positive outcomes for your
Yeah.
organization or for your institution.
It's like the start of the journey, but of course that start again has to be
Has to be
very
correct.
important. Yes,
Absolutely.
because as you
Absolutely.
mentioned, the validation, sometimes the data is incomplete, it's irrelevant, so that data any which ways cannot be used for making decisions.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
this step, though it's the start and it's the beginning, but it's one of the most crucial step towards that journey.
Absolutely.
And any kind of challenges or pitfalls that they should avoid while doing this data collection.
Yes, I think so. Yes, because this is the base where everything will start. So collecting data, uh, of course, analyzing it, it's obviously a game changer for an organization. So few notable points that one should be taking care of is that actually one of the biggest pitfalls here is collecting biased data. So your data could be skewed, or it can be unrepresentative of your target population. So what will happen is this will result into inaccurate insights and decisions. So one has to be very careful of selection bias, response bias, any form of bias, for your data collection method. Second biggest challenge, I think, is incomplete or inaccurate data. So whether the data is incomplete or it's inaccurate, you still get stuck somewhere. So it's a major stumbling block. Now
Mhm.
you need to ensure that your data is comprehensive, it is reliable. Once again, data validation catches on these kind of errors at a very early stage. So I strongly recommend people use data validation process from the very start itself. A lot of time, people overlook data integration. So what happens is, a lot of time, for most of the organizations, data is not collected at one single source. They could come up from multiple sources. So which is
Correct.
where the data has to be integrated in a very well way, very well mannered. Otherwise you will end up having siloed data, which will make it challenging for the interpreters, for the data analysis guys and the team to get a holistic view of the organization. So then the decision making will not be as accurate.
Okay.
Also, sometimes you need to have what I mentioned earlier, that you need to have a very clear goal. So this could also become a hindrance otherwise. If you don't have a clear objective why you are collecting the data, what is the end outcome that you're trying to see, your data collection may not be as effective or as accurate as you desire it to be. Also, here context matters a lot. So data may show you a correlation, but it doesn't necessarily imply a causation. So
Okay.
one has to be cautious about drawing unwarranted conclusions from the data.
Okay.
So this is one of the pitfalls that a lot of times, especially the new beginners will face this problem where they see an immediate result, but they'll not understand the causation of what they are trying to see. So you should
Okay.
avoid that.
Any example
Also,
that you can share about this point? Because I feel a lot of people might be doing this.
right. So what happens here is you see that because with the number of subscribers or a number of footfall that increase in your particular retail outlet is
Correct.
increasing, doesn't necessarily mean that your number of purchases are going up. So what people may think is that as a percentage, if I see, of course there is a holistic view that can be taken care of, that seeing that the number of people who enter your shop, out of that, let's say 12% buy your product, they turn it into insight. But what happens here is if a group of 4 people comes as a single pack, maybe one family or group of 4 friends who come for a single purchase. So this is where this expertise come into place.
Correct. That's true. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So talking about expertise, so of course data analysis can be a little complex. So you need to have the right skill sets and the right expertise in analyzing the data, and
Okay.
secondly interpreting from it also. So
Okay.
interpretation is equally important to when you read the data.
Right.
And after interpretation, of course, so when it comes to interpretation, you need to communicate what you have understood by the interpretation, is where you need to translate your data findings into actionable insights. So failure to do that will also will be a pitfall again when it comes to decision making. Also, just to conclude, I'll say don't rely solely on the historical data. It is very essential to consider what is coming next in the future. So a lot of
Correct.
external factors can also impact your organization's decision. And
Yes.
you have to be very dynamic in your decisions. So don't very rigidly just stick to one plan, and whenever the new data comes in, you try to adapt to the new changes, new course of action.
Okay.
Sometimes a lot of people do a lot of collect a lot of data, too much of data, which may not be relevant to them, which is why
Yeah.
when you have the set goals, it's very easier for you to understand what KPIs are to be drawn out of it. So just collect the relevant information and focus on collecting what truly matters for your objective. Unless otherwise you will end up having a data overload or an information overload. Lastly, just to close this, I think just don't rely purely on your data for deciding. Your team members have that kind of expertise, saying that
Hmm.
so little bit of their judgment, their intuition also plays a role. It's the data should be complementing the human decision making, not replacing it entirely. So there has to be a balance between how
I
much
think that's
data
a very
you
good
are
point.
using.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
with the experience and the intuition of your team members.
Correct. Correct.
That's pretty much
And
it.
so we were discussing about the data quality. Once the data collection is done, we move on to the next step where you mentioned data integration. Okay. And so, what is the role of data integration, or what does it mean in that process of decision making?
So I'll add one more word to it. It's basically, so when you say integration of the data, it will happen only with the quality of the data. So your data has to be of high quality, good quality data, which makes it integrable, or you can integrate it with other different sources of your data. So
Yes.
data quality and integrity, they are like the foundation for a sturdy decision making process. So
Okay.
they play a very pivotal role, in ensuring decisions that are made are sound and are reliable. So
Mm-hmm.
high quality data ensures that the information that you use for decision making is accurate. This actually, it will reflect the true state of affairs. When your data is trustworthy, decisions are made to the point. So
True.
secondly, what this will give you is basically, so data integrity will give you confidence in the insights that you derive from this data. Decision makers then can rely on this information present to them, make a much more informed choices. Also, if it's the downside of it, if you don't have this, a poor quality data can actually lead you to costly errors. So incorrect data can result in misguided decisions. Some of them might even lead to financial or reputational losses.
That's true.
Yeah. Also, reliable data is essential for strategic planning. So, because it allows the organization to set achievable targets, allocate the resources wisely, and anticipates challenges, more accurately. So, of course, the high quality data is far more integrated from the various. It's very easy to integrate them because it provides, and then it will be able to provide you a comprehensive view for of the entire company. So the company's entire operations. So a
Correct.
holistic view is where you'll be able to make a better decisions. I think it's one of the most invaluable thing for any decision maker.
Hmm.
Also, I think if your data is not of the right quality or if the integrity of the data is compromised, it can lead to a lot of misunderstandings, even mistrust by the senior management, who will end up seeing your data and then finding errors in it.
Hmm.
So basically, integrity and data quality is an ongoing process. Okay? So you have to
Okay.
continuously monitor it, improve the data quality, you know, time and again. And then they can refine their decision making
Hmm.
over time.
Correct.
Also, I would say, this will also help them in assessing and managing the risk effectively. If you have the right
Hmm.
high quality data, it allows an organization to identify potential threats, and at the same time they can now take proactive measures.
Yeah.
Also, I would say, high quality data will, so in this, so continuing to the same context, then it will also help them to innovate, have some more proactive measures. So it will help them explore new opportunities and adopt to innovative strategies.
Okay.
Also, I think in a dynamic business environment, when organizations have confidence in their data, they are more likely to explore new opportunities. They will be more adaptable. They can respond swiftly to changing circumstances, which is why where they need to trust their data.
Correct.
So I would say, data quality, data integrity, these are the fundamental pillars of data driven decision making. They are like building blocks upon which
Yes.
accurate insights, effective strategies, and informed choices are constructed. So
Okay.
I think this should be one of the top priority for any organization, to ensure the data is of high quality and there has to be integrity.
All right. I think that's wonderful. And for all of this, what tools and technologies are commonly used for all of these processes that we discussed, right? From data collection to data analysis and for data-driven decision making. What technologies are used nowadays, or which one have you used, or which one do you use mostly?
Yeah, I think the answer to this, I think itself is an ever evolving answer, because technology keeps upgrading, keeps changing. A lot of older technologies gets outdated, newer ones replace them. So currently, I think the popular tools for collecting data could be very common ones are surveys and questionnaires. So
Yeah.
Survey Monkeys or Google Forms are used. They are widely used by a lot of people and businesses to collect data in a very structured format from respondents.
Correct.
Second, commonly used are something like web scraping tools. So Beautiful
Hmm.
Soup or Scrappy, these kind of things help them understand data from the websites and online sources. So this is basically more of a web extraction, where the data from the web is extracted and used by the organizations to make an informed decisions. When we spoke about Tesla, so this is whether the sensor technologies come into picture. So a lot of these new age products have a lot of IoTs applied in them already. So these sensors collect real time data from a lot of from these sources. It could be environmental conditions, machines, devices, so and so. So this can be your source of collecting data.
Okay.
All of us use mobile apps. They are also a source of data collection for their parent organization, which helps them understand how the consumer is behaving and what are his patterns. uh,
Yes.
APIs are used a lot for accessing data from online platforms and services. So, especially from the social media or from financial markets, API gets integrated very easily. And of course, then there are data logging services where employees or these people just punch in their biometrics to capture to help organization capture the data. It could be for their attendance, it could be for their biometrics, it could be for their health records. And at the same time, these are also used in machines and equipments where the data gets logged by the panel or the instruments, and it gets analyzed later on, from time to time basis for repairs, for maintenance, so these are more so what I could think of when it comes to collecting data. uh,
Okay.
when it comes to analysis, again, there are tons of softwares. So statistical softwares were what even I was taught when I did my data science course.
Hmm.
So R was the first language that you learn. Or even though I am not from the software background, I just have theoretical knowledge of R. I'm also SAS certified because my course included me learning SAS. So SAS
Okay.
is one of the most high-tech softwares which give you in-depth statistical analysis and modeling. Uh,
Hmm.
then apart from that, you can use a lot of data visualization tools. So which a lot of companies, organizations find it very easy to use. Even a layman can learn more easily on the internet and start using it. Something like Tableau, Power BI, ClickSense. They give you nice visualization of data, help you understand a pattern or a trend, and you can explore the data and see what better decisions can be made from understanding the trends.
Okay.
Going to little complicated ones, then there are machine learning frameworks, TensorFlow, and libraries are available what you can use to deploy and build those things. Something like even a data management systems like SQL and all, they are crucial for
Mhm.
storing and managing your large data sets. So
Okay.
they come helpful. Of course, then there are big data technologies also, Apache, Hadoop, and couple of them. Similarly, you can use, so like you have visualization tools similar to that are business intelligence tools, which can again help you to give you a better business insight. So here I think apart from Power BI, you can even use SAP Business Objects or IBM Cognos is there. They offer pretty advanced analytics and reporting capabilities. Then there is something called as NLP, which stands for Natural Learning Processing. So
Yes.
Spacey and others help you analyze and extract that kind of insights from textual data. A
Correct.
lot of cloud computing also provide you basic analytical services. AWS, Azure, cloud. Google is also offering, scalable resources for data storage and analysis both. So they both go hand in hand. Then I think there are some data mining tools available in the market. There we have time series analysis, geospatial. A/B testing platforms are often used by a lot of social media marketing and social media optimizing kind of agencies. So they use Optimizely or Google Optimize, for improving the performances of their experience of their users. And I think that's more like it. I mostly use a lot of Excel for my work because it's the very basic that we have. So most of the clients that I dwell with or I get involved with have Excel with them. So we use a lot of
Okay.
Excel for basic analytical uh, decision making, or understanding the trends and patterns.
And I think Excel provides some very good tools for dashboards.
It can be a good starter, yes, of course.
Yes. 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 So thank you so much, Mr. Vishal, for sharing all of these amazing insights with us. I must say, truly, you are a powerhouse, and all the listeners will really benefit from all the experiences and the tips that you have shared, and how you have highlighted the importance of decision making and the importance of storing the relevant data. What are the key points one has to keep in mind whilst doing it? It's not just a simple process that I save my data and I'm able, how to harness that entire resource and make it valuable for us. So I think amazing to learn that from you, from your experience, all the guidelines that you have given to us. Thank you so much for that.
You're most welcome, Farida. It was wonderful talking to you.
In conclusion, data driven decision making is not just a buzzword in today's rapidly evolving world. It's a fundamental strategy for success. Throughout this podcast, we've explored how harnessing the power of data can transform the way we make choices, whether in business, healthcare, or our personal lives. By relying on evidence, insights, and analytics, we can navigate complex challenges with greater clarity as well as confidence. Remember, the data is out there, waiting to be analyzed and interpreted. It's up to us to embrace this invaluable resource, adapt our decision making processes, and unlock a future where informed choices lead us to better outcomes. Thank you for joining us on this journey to explore the fascinating world of data driven decision making. We look forward to seeing you again in the next episode of the Professionals Pulse. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Vishal.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
you so much. Bye bye.